do you want?
Tacos!
When do you need it?
Now!
1, 2, 3, go! Yes! Woo! What's up, guys? This is Johnny Tacos, dude. Totally. And you know what? Why I'm doing this? It's because we're going back to Arena Rock with Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, and Striper, and all this stuff. And we're going to rock out with the guys from Colorado named CONAXX. And they're bringing it back, man. Bringing it back. Check this video out. Tubular.
And raise our dreams to the moonlit sky.
What's up, guys? Johnny Tacos here with another exciting and informative episode of the Johnny Tacos Rock Talk. Today we have CONAXX here, all the way from Colorado. While we're doing Colorado, we're going to go to a time warp into a day where the men wore makeup. Well, I guess they still kind of wear makeup today. And also tight pants. Yes, we're talking about hair metal. We're talking about when the days when music had a lot of heart, a lot of soul, and apparently a lot of roadies and a lot of chicks. And it's going to be rocking, going to be rolling. And before we get to going, remember, if you like this show and you find these awesome artists here worth the listen, hit like, subscribe. That keeps the algorithm going and makes people want to enjoy what you have in store. And by the time I say in store, I hope you do. I don't know. I forgot my ADD medicine today, man. I'm getting older. You know, people forget about their medicines, you know, but we're going to be rocking and rolling. Now, if you love music, such as like Motley Crue, you love, you know, Van Halen, you know, great bands like that, you'll love this band here, because when I got to listen to their music, you know, it kind of just, it brought me back. It brought me back to an awesome time when I had it with my brother and we used to jam out and just enjoy what good heavy metal, you know, kind of music was back then in the late 80s, well, the 80s and the early 90s. Because I think pretty much it kind of subsided in like 92, 93 before grunge came through. But, you know, if you like guitar riffs that just melts your face and just the vocals just brings you, you know, to your knees, man, you'll love this band here. And, you know, we have 3 of the 4, which, you know, it's going to, I don't know if I can contain all this craziness that's about to happen. So we'll talk about CONAXX, and then we'll talk about their tribute band, Van Zeppelin, here on the show. Just want to give a quick shout out to all the fans that have liked the show through the 4 years that we have been through in here, man. Without y'all, I'll just be talking to the wall. And then it finally gives my wife ample ammunition to set me into the asylum forever. So I'm pretty excited about today, man. I didn't have my coffee, but the guys did, because it's early morning here. You know, rock and roll shouldn't be this early. You know what? You know, like Jack Black says, you got to wake up in the crack of noon.
Yeah.
You
know, I wake up early anyhow, man. It's funny. I think I'm on my second monster at this time, and I've already had a cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go.
Man, caffeinated insane right there. We're gonna have to hold you down, man.
Heck yeah.
Taurine Nation.
So we're happy to be here, man. Thanks for having us.
So
I know we're an hour apart, but still cool to get up in the morning and, you know, get a chance to share our band with someone new. And it's really cool that you found us as you did. And, you know, you're saying it kind of brings you back to just like hanging out and like listening to just good rock and roll and stuff like that. And I think that's really what we're after, per se. And as much as we might come off as a certain style here and there, I think in the last couple of years, a lot of our new songs has just been really a cool blend of a bit of modern and old school inspirations with our like own twists and stuff. So it's just been really cool to, you know, to have our new stuff be heard.
And you know what? I think a second wave of old school rock and roll is coming too. You know, I've been seeing a lot more bands wanting to play that kind of technical solo guitars playing, and the music just very soulful into it, you know. And but let's introduce y'all to the people. You know, Alec, you want to start?
Sure. I'm Alec. I'm the lead singer, vocals, slowly learning harmonica as well, but don't tell anyone yet.
Anthony?
I'm Anthony. I play guitar, and I am not learning the harmonica, but a huge supporter of it.
I'm Kenny. I'm the bassist, and I am also not currently learning the harmonica.
Well, I hate to single you out there, Alec. So
No, he's got the skills for it, man. It's been cool.
It's
I do want to shout out our drummer.
The covers for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll shout out our drummer real quick. His name's Dylan, and I know he'd love to be here, but he's pretty active, and so I'm sure he's taking it easy at the moment. But his name is Dylan. He's also badass at the guitar, and for the Van Zeppelin stuff too. It's been a fun ride with him. Some of the last few shows, but more on that later.
Well, yeah, if it's any consolation.
Well,
yeah.
We'll ask him if he's playing the harmonica too, later. We'll hunt him down.
I was going to say, yeah, if it's any consolation, I'm the only member of the band that can't play guitar, so I got to have something.
Yeah, they have a meme about lead singers, when they're loading up their vans. You have the drums like falling over, trying to put in the drums. You got the guitarist like slowly like kind of romancing their guitar into the van, and then you have the bass player just throwing it in there because nobody's paying attention to them. And then I think the rest of them just lift up the lead singer and throw him into the van. It's pretty
fun. I try to beat the stereotypes.
So how did this band come around? Have y'all been friends for years?
We've come on close to 10 years. So friends for sure for about 10 years. And then in the beginning, there was an original drummer, and him and I were friends, kind of knew each other. We met up and jammed. Things were vibing, sought out a singer, and got a video of Alec singing Immigrant Song at karaoke. And I was like, that was from my mom. And I was like, give him my number. Alec came over, read some lyrics and talked music and sang. And we're like, do you want to be in the band? And he was in the band. And then 2 weeks later, we find out we're cousins, distant cousins. And then we're on the search for a bass player. And then Kenny and I met through work at this guitar shop, and same kind of thing. Telling him about the band needs a bass, and he was into it and came over and jammed. And year-ish went by, and then we got a different drummer, which is Dylan, and we've been kicking it ever since. Probably since current lineup since I think 2017 or 18.
Wow, so y'all been rocking and rolling for years, man. So you got this on pat, right?
Oh yeah, we've been cooking. Yeah. We're ready to hit the road.
Yeah.
So I noticed that a lot of your tours are in your state, your home state. Have you merged out to like Dallas or Arizona or any further out states?
We are really wanting to this year. We've gone up north to Sturgis, and we played the Buffalo Chip the last 2 years. And other than that, that's where we've gone. And so we've really been on the hunt to break out of Colorado, even just regionally come down to Texas, like as you're saying, the areas you're saying south from us, and then California, even north of us, but potentially the East Coast too, depending on how things go. But we are really chomping at the bit to get out and play in new places and see new faces.
We're working on setting up a tour for July, early August right now, out to the LA area and just kind of California coast, maybe up to San Fran too.
Your music is kind of universal. You can go out there, and there's a need for that type of music to really fill up the seats. Remember back in the day, the arena rocks, with when Van Halen was out there in the stage, there's like massive amounts of fans, and it just with the way the music and persona, and I saw a couple of your videos. You know, you have that. You kind of brought that presence of arena rock, even if you're small, if you're rocking to a small kind of fan base, man. So, do you feel that you need to rock if it's one person or a million person rock the same?
Absolutely. I mean, it's always easier to, go all out for a show if you have a big rowdy crowd. But I think, no matter what kind of show we're playing, we're always giving it 100%.
Gotta at least embody the energy.
Yeah, for sure. I think we, even in the super early days, we always were like, from if there's only two people, one person in the crowd, we're gonna play like there's 1,000 or more kind of thing, and just always play as hard and best as you can, no matter the crowd size. And it just pays off, in general, because you just, one, never know who's there, and two, every gig is an opportunity, no matter how big or small.
And you know what? That right there just shows you that you're true musicians, man. You love your art. So how did it come together when y'all say, hey, let's rock out like the old 80s? You know, is it because of your love of that style of music, or is it just what was taught through you through being kids? Because y'all look fairly young.
Fairly.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it just kind of was just from what we've all grew up listening to more than anything. I was very influenced by the music we've been talking about so far. And I think there's a share and a love for all kind of things old school, as you would consider it now, old school / classic rock, even, what might entangle into the 90s and 2000s at this point. And over time, we all just kind of brought forth, just want to rock. And that's just kind of how it came out.
And with that, you have opened up for some of the greats, right, in the Colorado area.
Yeah, we a handful of kind of those 80s hair metal bands, including like Dokken and Warrant, Jack Russell's Great White,
Yeah.
a lot of bands.
Quiet Riot.
Quiet Riot too, yeah.
LA Guns.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So how was Dokken, man? Did y'all get to sit down and party with Dokken? I know they're hitting like 70.
No, he was.
It was cool, man. I mean, they were late to their sound check, so there was a bit of stress and pressure on the venue to get things right for Dokken in time, because there was also, I think, like 3 or 4 other openers, and so, but I don't know. But we were first. So I think we were like the youngest band there. So, and kind of the newer band. Yeah. And they put us first. And so, I mean, it was cool. It's kind of a while back. Dokken it was cool. The place is kind of small compared to probably what he's played in the past in his life. Herman's Hideaway, famous place, no longer here in Denver. But yeah, definitely a unique experience on that one for sure.
My biggest memory of that show was just watching their sound check, and Don Dokken was super mad at the sound guy for not having his like most perfect 80s arena rock reverb for his vocal, and he was being real rude about it to him, man. And I was just like, I remember I turned to Anthony and I just looked and I was like, man, if I'm ever being that much of a dick to somebody, just kick me in the nuts.
It's funny. It's like you want that reverb arena rock, but you're playing in a small shack. It's you have to know about harmonics. If you're a musician.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like his exact words was like, "Hey man, you're giving me the difference between the Grand Canyon and a small room. Split the difference. Split the difference." I said, "Split the."
Yeah.
He just kept reaming them out.
Wow, man. But yeah, they get pretty diva eyes back, when they get up there to the high. They still like I talked to another band the other day, and we were talking about plateaus, about how bands go they go really high and then they crash, but but some people when they're really high up in the margin, like Warrant was and Dockin, they were up there. Even when they crash, they still think they're up. I think I think they're delusional, and they still want to feel like they they're making millions of dollars when they're only making $50 at Kenny's Festival of Lights.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where's my green M&Ms? So with playing since 2017, this band has been strong. Besides the changing of the drummer. Um, you have original music, but you also have a project that you are doing, right? As an homage to the greatest bands that I've ever heard of, and that that my mom had bestilled to me. Van Halen and Zeppelin. Where did that come from? Did y'all like, hey, let's just do a tribute band, just kind of like alter ego kind of thing? Like, they have a micro Aussie called Blizzard of Oz. He does a tribute. He looks just like Ozzy, but he's like in your pocket. Um, really fun size. I'm 6'6", standing near a guy that is 3'2". It was kind of looked like Dr. Evil and Mini Me. It was pretty funny.
Well,
One
they're
of the promoters we were working with was, heard us do a Van Halen cover just in our set. We were doing Hot for Teacher. And he was like, man, you guys got to do a Van Halen tribute. Like, nobody in the area is doing it. You would crush it. And, we were kind of thinking about it. Like, man, we don't really want to be like just, a Van Halen tribute. And then I think it was Alex's idea originally. It just came from the name Van Zeppelin. And we all just kind of sparked because, we already knew a bunch of Zeppelin. We already knew a handful of Halen songs. So, it seemed like a good jumping off point. And, they're obviously both bands that all of us love to listen to, love to play, super fun music to play. So, it just felt good and we had a good name. So we just kind of went with it. And, it was fairly easy to put together the first set. And people loved it. So it just kind of took off from there. And, at this point, I think we can kind of credit Van Zeppelin as, being really the thing that's been able to help us up our budget and, record our original songs for real in an actual studio and get that production quality that we always wanted to hear from, some of our earlier records. We were recording in our friend's basement, and to be honest with you, it kind of sounded like it. So, being able to just play in front of a bigger crowd, get a bigger paycheck, get, more regular gigs, branch out to more venues that aren't necessarily looking to hire just like a local metal band. And, it just kind of took off from there. People are still loving it.
Yeah.
And we can sneak in our original stuff too. Like, wow, as Van Zeppelin, we'd be like, and this is one of our original songs, like halfway through the set. And we already kind of have the crowd, throw them one of our more catchier originals and get a killer reaction from it, and just kind of, get a chance to play one of our songs in front of a larger crowd than we would have if it was like an originally maybe a CONAXX show, in a lot of cases. So.
Yeah, it's kind of what helped us break out of just the, the kind of small local dive bar type venues to more of like your larger, like theater size room kind of venues too. So it's been a cool transition, and it's kind of brought CONAXX there as well. And recently what we've been doing is we've been booking ourselves to open for ourselves, right? So we'll headline as Van Zeppelin and, book ourselves as the opener as CONAXX. And, people that know us already know what the deal is, but half of the crowd doesn't know the difference either way. So, we can make a whole moment of kind of coming back out as Van Zeppelin, and half the crowd's like, oh, it's the same guys.
And, it's just like what Nikki Sixx did with his band and opening up for Motley Crue, which is But the only difference is it's the same bands. So do y'all go and change outfits? So we'll
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
with
For sure.
but
I got like 3 pairs of bell bottoms to choose from usually, at least at every gig.
well, tribute bands, it's amazing how lucrative they are. There's a bunch of them that are here in the Dallas area, and tribute bands make a lot of money. They make more money than some of the house bands. So that was a very smart move by y'all, just to um, get the audience beaks wet with some of the music that they're familiar with, and then just push in a little bit of your original. You sneak it in. Like the back door, come into the back door. Just that's
And
really
speaking of tribute
smart.
act,
Yeah, that is really smart. I gotta give y'all kudos for that. So
Definitely made it easier to make money.
yeah, definitely.
and just perpetuate the band as a whole.
Yeah.
So I know that it's all in the vein of the old arena rocks, the 80s rocks. Who are um some of the bands you kind of looked up to that kind of made you who you are now? Whoever wants to start, don't get too excited.
Yeah,
Go for it.
probably Audio Slave, Soundgarden, probably Ronnie James Dio, of course.
Uh-huh.
And me personally, if you can believe it, Clutch. To name like a lesser known one.
Yeah, Clutch was awesome, dude. They're still touring, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
We got
yeah,
to see him last summer at Sturgis, and that was pretty wild. That was a great show.
Yeah. That was cool.
probably the most
I
they've
love
ever seen
I
me
love
rock
all old
out.
school metal, like Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, of course, Van Halen, but like Black Sabbath and Zeppelin, and I mean all of the classic guitar greats, and AC/DC. Grew up on listening to all of it, man. And as time went on, kind of more modern stuff along the way, but I definitely, my ears are more tuned to music from more of the past than of the present. Kind of always have been, and nothing personal, I guess, just what always caught my attention.
Mm-hmm. See, for me, it was almost kind of a curveball joining a heavy metal band because obviously I grew up on all of that stuff too. But as a bassist, before I joined this group, I was mostly into like a lot of classic rock, psychedelic rock, funk, and so obviously Led Zeppelin's a huge influence, but also like a lot of Pink Floyd, like a lot of the more kind of psychedelic feel, as well as that like early thumping and plucking like Larry Graham, like Sly and the Family Stone, Graham Central Station, all of that kind of stuff. And I also grew up on a ton of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Flea is probably like one of my biggest influences on the bass. And converse to that, also listen to like a lot of Tool and that type of stuff. So kind of the more proggy type stuff. And Rush too. Geddy Lee was a huge influence for me too. So I feel like I kind of bring a little bit of that funky psychedelic element to our sound that kind of makes it cross over those boundaries of genres a little bit. And I think for our original music, our influence ranges from pretty much all rock and roll and heavy metal, anything from like 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. And sometimes a little bit more modern influence will have those kind of prog breakdown kind of moments as well.
Yeah, and to me that was kind of like the sweet spot of rock and roll, was from the 80s and the 90s. Uh, it was kind of where it brought a lot of emotion, but it was still heavy. The riffs were still heavy. The music was still there in your face. But I think it was a dawn of storytelling. You know, uh, of actually going out there and just doing it for the masses, just rocking out and doing that day by day and living that rock star life. Now, rock star life, are y'all living that rock star life where you tear up a motel room?
No, we're pretty tame, man. We're all pretty tame in a sense.
We might look like it when we're on stage, but no, we're out there getting 5-star B&B guest reviews.
It gets expensive when you start trashing the room. We don't really have that much money to work with.
Mhm.
We don't have Nirvana or Nickelback money by any means.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, are y'all married? You know, do y'all have a family life with the music?
No, I mean I have a partner, but we're not married or anything. We got a house together and stuff. And then I think these two are single. So ladies, they are available. And then our Dylan is in a relationship too.
All right, now single, you know, the groupies, man. You gotta watch out for the groupies.
It depends.
It's more so the Cougars, man. It's the Cougars when we do Van Zeppelin and they line up, and it's like, okay, slow down now. Like, just go meet us at the worship.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
There is like a very specific problem that I personally have. It's I'll be talking to a girl for a while, and then out of nowhere, I'll feel eyes on me, and I look up, and like her boyfriend is sitting there at the bar staring daggers at me or something. It's happened several times, and I'm just like, I don't want to lose any teeth tonight. You're
Alex,
keep some on a.
it's like I don't usually bring the problem. The problem just comes to me. I'm like a magnet.
It just happens, man.
Hey, it's that music. It's that lead singer. It's that rocker kind of attitude, man. People just flock to you. They go, boyfriend. I have no boyfriend. No boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a specific example, one time at Grand Junction, I was talking to this beautiful blonde lady, and all of a sudden, like another group of people came up and like tried to get my attention, and I like snapped back for like a second, and I looked back to her. She was already walking away, and I happened to look up. There was like a 6'5" guy in a big ass 10-gallon hat who was just glaring at me. I was like, "All yours, man." I went back to what I was doing.
But hey, that's a rock star life, man. That's what some of the greats. That's kind of before your time. You know, before your time. They had parties like that, man. It's just people just flock to the bad boy kind of persona. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
well, Alex actually got a whole separate name for his persona when we play a big show, which is Ricky Neon, and that's when he turns into he looks totally different than the guy you see sitting there right now, and he's all dressed up in that 70s 80s metal gear and feeling good. That's Ricky Neon right there, killing it.
Got to start the show with a double shot of tequila if you want to see him.
Hey, that's just like me. My family kind of dubbed me Margarita Johnny when I drink too many margaritas. I actually we did we went out to a B&B and we were just trying to have a family vacation, and my wife and my kids they're over 20 now, so they all went to the liquor store and got some liquor, and hey, we brought you some margarita mix. And I was like, oh, cool. And then 1800 tequila, and I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. So I poured the margarita mix into the blender with the ice, and I was making the tequilas. I mean the margaritas, and I added the 1800 tequila in there, and I poured it like half of it in there. It's a big pond. And then my wife said, "Hey, you know that margarita mix is already pre-mixed with tequila, right?" So it was triple the tequila and the margarita, and I kind of blacked out. And she goes, we were laying down, and I'm saying, and she'll tell the story. She goes, and I go, "You're so beautiful. I love you. You're so beautiful." And she goes, "Hey, Johnny, you're talking to the wall right now." I'm like, "But you're so beautiful." So yeah. I guess Neon and Margarita Johnny needs to hang out. You know, when you're in Dallas,
That's
When we
awesome.
do,
I'll be the ultimate wingman for you, man.
if you say so, I'll
We'd
get
be
you up on
the
that.
first to know when we come down south through your area for sure. I mean, we'd love to come through and play the Texas spots.
Yeah, we'll have
Get
tacos
CONAXX
and
down there.
tequila. Tacos and tequila.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, we're getting close to the end of the show, dude. You have a website, connexmusic.com. That's where you can see the upcoming tours, the bio. You can check out the media. You know, help them out with some merch. Y'all got merch. Uh,
hmm
and I always tell the listeners, the fans, merch is like the bread and butter of the band, dude. Because if nobody's been in the music industry, you really don't get paid enough to get on that stage. It's the merchandise that helps pay for the time in the studio, the gas, the food itself. You know, just helps out with the band entitled entirely. So when you get a chance, guys, check out the merch, support these guys. These guys, man, they're awesome dudes. So, to me it is like a trip back to my teenage years of jamming out to bands like Firehouse and Rat. I have a story about Rat, man. I went to go see them at the legendary Bronco Bowl. I don't know if y'all know about it in
I've
Dallas.
heard of the Bronco Bowl before.
Yeah, that was when a friend of mine gave me some tickets. Said, "Hey, let's go jam to Rat," and I was like, "Okay, all right." So we went over there, and I was about to start jamming. We'd already been drinking before. You know, kids, I don't condone drinking. You know, out in the parking lot. So, but once we went into there, man, I got so drunk that I don't even remember meeting the guys from Rat. And my friend said, "Hey, dude, you met guys from Rat? You know, you offered to take over lead singing. You know, once you know, once his voice started crackling, and you're like, you were crazy. You know, I was like, what was I, 19, 20 at that time? But
Funny,
yeah,
sounds
man.
like a good time.
Yeah, and I was like, man, why couldn't? That's when I was like, well, maybe I have a drinking problem. Yeah, I meet legendary singers and bands when I'm drunk, you know, and I black out. You okay, Alec?
Oh, having an earphone problem.
Technical difficulties. Maybe we can sign language to them. Can you hear us, Alec?
Yeah.
Went away for a second. Had to reset them. I don't know what happened, but I suddenly lost all audio.
Man, you miss all the best parts, man.
Yeah, it just cut out on me. I'm sorry. Technology.
Yep.
Well, thanks for having us on here, man.
Well, thank y'all
It
for
was really cool to hear you reach out and be a part of this.
well, man, y'all have to holler at me when you're in Dallas, man. Let me know if you got some shows coming up, you know, as Van Zeppelin or CONAXX or a mixture of both. Just let me know. Come through.
Or we actually have a third project that we just brought about. I think Kenny's
Oh,
wearing the
yeah.
shirt for it. We do mostly Black Sabbath and Ozzy covers. We even have a Dio Sabbath cover in there. It's called Rat Salad.
Oh man, I didn't even know that. No.
Mm-hmm. We don't have like a page
It's
or
pretty
anything for
new.
it just yet. We've only done a couple of shows, but you know, just kind of something else to add to the arsenal where, just make it easier to book more shows at more places, avoid those pesky radius clauses at certain spots, and, just be able to kind of mix it up a little bit, have some fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
The always changing CONAXX crew here. So, but
The CONAXX chameleons.
Man, that should be a logo there, man. Make a chameleon for all of it.
Yeah, there we go.
But thank you guys, and man, if y'all need to check them out, go on all the social medias, YouTube. Check out the band CONAXX. You get a chance, check out their side project, Van Zeppelin. If you're in the Colorado area, tell them the Taco Man sent you. You get free hugs. Watch out for Alec. If you have any girlfriends over there, watch out. But yeah, man. I gotta watch out for my wife, dude. Man. but hey guys, I love y'all, man. Y'all are cool, man. I can't wait. And we're gonna go. You sent me a song that we want to take it home with. Can you real fast tell me about that song? How that original song came?
So that's our most recent release. It's actually a re-release of something that was on our first album from 2017. That now that we've been able to upgrade our recording process, I think since then we've evolved as a band. The song has changed a little bit, but it is one of our oldest songs, based off of a riff that Anthony came up with our old drummer before Alec or I even joined the band. We're probably 8 or 9 years in on this song at this point, and it's reached its potential at this point, and we're stoked to be able to re-record it with good quality and make it sound as awesome as we always imagined it sounding. So that song's called Unleashed. A curveball here on 420. We are releasing a cover of, believe it or not, a Grateful Dead tune done in the style of like old school heavy metal. So look out for that coming out on 420. So yeah, check us out. Give us a follow on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that stuff. Find us on socials and get all our updates.
Like, yeah, crank it up too. Turn it up when you play the song. Turn it up really loud. Whoever's listening.
And if you want to make the comparison, I think the old version of Unleash is still up somewhere.
You don't need to listen to that
one. All right, guys. Well, let's unleash the Unleashed. So here it is.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Lashing out in the mirror, inside
There's no more taunting. I shall accept this. The shadows are gripping. The light is fading. Stability is tipping. The light is what deceives me. The beast inside. He's inside of me.
If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please like and subscribe to get the latest and the greatest from the Johnny Taco Show.